Beyond the pages.
Beyond the pages.
I want to go down the memory lane. I want to think of a time when I was actually growing up, and some certain limits just occurred to me naturally. Nobody sat me down to say, "Oh, these are the lines you should not cross. These are things you cannot do." But those things just occurred naturally, even without anybody telling me. Like those lines were something I drew by myself, even before I'm actually an adult or before I became an adult, to be able to draw those lines. And I've always been wondering, how did those boundaries or how did those limits come? Is this something we inherit, or is this something that just occur naturally?
I think that these things are very, very common in our lives as human beings. When we talk about the kind of behavior, that the kind of ideology that we have. And most times these things are determined or are influenced by the kind of environment that we live in. Say for example, a child that was born in a community in Nigeria where they do not respect women. Obviously this person grew up to see that how the father or how the mother, how they treat how the father or the men in the family, the male members of the family, they see how they do these things. They see how they treat women. They see how they treat their sisters, their mothers. So of course, the brain assimilates this message. It takes up this message, process it and become its own, take shape in the person's brain. So most times as human, we are born with a clean slate. We are ready to absorb everything. We are like this white sheet. We are born like this white sheet. But of course, the people that we meet, the kind of home that we grow up in, the kind of school that we go to, the kind of community members that we surround ourselves to. A child also leaves the home, go to the society, go to school, go for work. The kind of people that they meet in their sojourn in life, they kind of like put a print every time on that white clothes. So yes, I would say that our ideology, the way we think, the way we do things are influenced. They are influenced by the environment and by the culture of the people that we live with or work with actually.
Yeah, exactly. Because sometimes I get to imagine whether all this culture that we are sticking with, whether it was passed on to us, or like who even determined this kind of way of life. Who told us this is how you should do? You should not be too ambitious. You should not be too this one. You should not be too out there. Like, how did we get there? Is it that it was handed over to us, or how did we come to get to that place, that cultural restrictions that we have?
I think you said it all actually. When we look at the true meaning of culture, what exactly is culture? It's a shared value, it's a belief, it is a practice, custom of a particular people. It is a way of like, this is how these people do their life. And we know how culture is. Culture shapes how we behave, it shapes how we think, it shapes how we communicate, and even understand the kind of work that we live in. And so most importantly to know, this culture that we talk about, culture is man-made. When we were doing social studies in school, we talked about culture, we talked about how culture came to be, and it was very simple. It was a simple definition. Culture is a way of life of some certain people, and culture is man-made. That was what was taught to us. So obviously, a sort of people will come together to say that, because our forefathers were doing this, so we will start doing it. We will continue to do it. And it became ingrained in their life. It became a culture that they also, passed on to future generations. So, and the good thing about culture is not supposed to be stagnant. It's not supposed to be static. It should be evolving. The fact that your grandfather, was doing that then does not mean that we should continue. Say, take for example, our forefathers in their lives. They were not riding cars. They were not riding aeroplanes. They were going on long distance walking. some of them that were rich enough, they were able to afford, animals mobility, like or like
Horse, camel.
horses. Exactly, they were able to do that. So, but that was their culture now. So you cannot say because, oh, it was my culture of my father to, trek long distance. Your father could trek from Ibadan to Lagos on foot. Does not mean that you should do that. And that is the beauty of culture. It was accepted that time. Life is evolving. People are changing. We are meeting ourselves. We are learning new things. So basically, culture can change. A culture that says that women do not have right does not exist in the world that we live in. So let's get deep into the culture and the cultural harmful practices that is related to women. Say for example, in the past, but not really past, because it's just the recent past. And unfortunately, heartbreakingly, it's still happening in some communities today. We see women, when they lose their husbands, when they become widows, they are forced to engage in some harmful cultural practices. These cultures are very harmful, they are inhumane, and they do not have a place in our society. Widows are made, their heads are scraped, they are meant to drink the water that was used to wash their dead husbands. They were made to drink it. So these things are inhumane. But of course, people had to open their head and their senses to say, why exactly are we doing this? It doesn't make any sense. Why are we making people go through this? So, time by time, it became changing. Even though some people, because they are so wicked at heart, they do not want to leave their culture. But of course, what I'm just trying to say basically is culture is man-made. And the beauty of it is that we can change our way of life. In this, if it doesn't align with the recent time, if it doesn't align with common sense, if it doesn't align, it is not humane. That culture did not have a place in our society.
Let me actually introduce everybody. Let me talk about what the broadcast is all about, so that you can now move into answering those questions. So everything we've been talking about has been great. It's just about how we were brought up, our society, and how that actually affects the woman lives. So, and that is why today's episode actually matters. So, on that note, I'm welcoming you to Beyond the Pages podcast, where we challenge narrative shaping education, identity, and even leadership. I am Igiolo Agbenga Taufik. The lady among us is Judith, and then Daramola Luke. So I'm going to give each and every one of them a chance to actually talk about themselves, introduce themselves, then we'll now continue from there. So Judith, please, over to you.
So I'm genuinely looking forward to this conversation. I'm so glad to be here, and I'm so glad that we have you today to shed more light and tell us, because I have a lot of questions. Being a woman, I know I have experienced one or two things that I also want to talk about. So I love your initiative, and we love to have you here today. So I'm very, very glad to be here to talk about this. So my name, as you said, is Judith Uchichukwu.
So much, Judith.
All right. Then let me give the opportunity to the man, Mr. Daramola Luke. Please, over to you.
All right, Ms. Karimot, Daramola Luke. All right, when it comes to discussing women, girls, it's always an evergreen, and contemporaneous topic. Very, very interesting. And I'm so glad to be discussing this topic today. And once again, my research, point out a whole lot about you and the foundation you had, which is very, very interesting. And I'm having, of course, many questions to ask as regards that. And I believe before the end of this conversation, I'll get very good answers to my question. Thank you. And thanks for tuning in.
It's such a pleasure to be on the podcast, and thank you so much for inviting me. I look forward to all the conversations we are going to have.
No problem. We'll have a whole lot for you, Karimot. So, welcome to Beyond the Pages podcast, and this is season 2, episode 3. And on this special episode today, we are on our March Women's Month special. And this broadcast is proudly produced by Accessible Publishers Limited. And today, We are honored to be joined by a woman who is actively shaping the dream of the young girls around the world, not just within our locality, but just around the world. She's a founder of an NGO I've been able to work with in the past, the Black Girl Dreams Initiative. And also, it's an organization committed to empowering girls to dream boldly and pursue education and leadership without shrinking.
Okay, so let me take it up from there. So permit me to say a little bit about you from what I looked up online, what I researched. Karimot Olabisi Odebode is a Nigerian educator, advocate, lawyer, poet, and founder of the Black Girls Dream Initiative, a youth-led organization aimed at closing the gender gap. In 2022, she was the only Nigerian on the list of the 2022 United Nations cohort of 17 young leaders for Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, announced at the 77th section of the UN General Assembly. She is a youth champion for one campaign in Nigeria to helping in spearheading the fight against poverty. And in 2022, the Ministry of Youth and Sports Oyo State recognized her as one of the 100 influential young people for her advocacy work. Okay, she also authored a 156-page collection of over 100 poems published in 2022 as well, which gives women voice. So that's the perfect person for this our episode. We welcome you to Beyond the Pages podcast, Women episode special, Women special. So welcome to Beyond the Pages podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Direct and very, very simple. You've done a whole lot with your NGO, having experiences, I believe, across countries and continents of the world. So the question is, when it comes to beliefs across various society, there are certain beliefs, that limits girls from exploring their path in terms of education. So I'm being specific. So I'm staying within the boundaries of education. So what are those beliefs that probably a young girl, while growing up, stays with her, that might probably limit her ambition in terms of exploring education to its full length? Let me just take that again in a very simplified form. I said, in terms of education, of course, we have guys, we have males and we have females in education, but the society tends to give more leverage to a male child, in terms of exploring his path in education. But there are some beliefs that have been held which are actually erroneous. I believe that has been limiting a female child from exploring the world of academics. So the question is, what are those beliefs that we've held so dear, that are actually very, very wrong in a sense, that limits a girl child from exploring her path in terms of education?
There are a lot of things as young girls that we see in the world that we live in today. And then growing up as young girls, girls are told that they can only be seen but not be heard. Girls are told that when it comes to education, they do not have right to education. Girls are told that they can go to school, but when they come back from school, they should keep the certificate in their room, because it's meant to be they are meant to be in the kitchen. And we saw that when the former president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria boldly said it, that the place of a woman is in the kitchen. So we can see the stereotypes that we place our girls in. We can see the issues that we ourselves build for our society. And when we talk about girls not having access to education, it's a whole lot of issues. It did not just start today. It's something that has been in our society because we place so much we place so much importance on the boys, knowing for a fact that we place so much importance on the boys while ignoring the girls, without acknowledging the fact that both are children and both have their individual their possibilities and it is our responsibilities as adults to make sure that we set them up for success. So there are a lot of things that affect girls' education in our country, and then, like I rightly said, one of it is our culture of saying that girls are not supposed to be in school. It's also, there are also so many things like poverty. Sometimes poverty is also a leading causes for why girls are not in school. A family that do not have enough money to put their children in school, they prioritize the boys going to school over the girls. So that's clearly some of the things that happen.
This year's International Women's Day theme is Give to Gain. So that means we need to actually give the men, or the society needs to give some part of what they are used to accommodate the request from the women's side or from the female gender. In a space where we say there are 10 space or there are 10 position available, what we are saying is on a normal day, normally we are used to having 8 men, 2 females. Now we want it to be on an equal basis. So you are saying we should give up 3 space to actually accommodate. Well, those things are actually part of progress, and they say there's no progress, or progress often requires letting go of some things. So in your own view, what must women, or most importantly, what must men give up if you truly want a fair balance in education and in the leadership space? So let me let you take that.
I think I love that question a whole lot. There are a lot of things that men can give, and they can let go. Also, the High WD team for this year, which was by private companies, Gift Again, but the UN team is Rights, Justice, Action for all women and girls, and which is very important because of what we have. But to answer your question, as there are a lot of things that men have to give. There are a lot of things that men have to let go. Number one would be men have to let go of the notion that they are superior over women. As human beings, we should have access to equal rights. We should have access to basic human rights. There is nobody that should be placed on top of one another. So number one thing is the notion that men are superior. And the second thing that men has to give, that they have to let go, is the fact that when they see a woman, or when they see a position where they could help the cause of women, of girls, they should try as much as possible to do that. They shouldn't look at the fact that, oh, this person is not my mother or my sister or my wife or my daughter, then I do not have a stake. No, every woman should be your daughter. Every woman should be your mother. We need to know, people should not be in the position of being your blood relative before you can care for them. So men should genuinely care for women, not just because of what they want to get from them, but for the fact that they believe that as women and girls are human beings, and we need to fight for justice, we need to fight for their right, we need to ensure that the society that we live in is equal, and then people are living the basic, the people are given the basic human right that they deserve. So yes, gift again, a lot of things that people have to gain. I mean, people have to give for us to, push forward in our advocacy. And let's take that a notch higher. We are in Oyo State, and it's so disheartening that there have never been a female governor in Oyo State. There have never been a female deputy governor in Oyo State. So basically, those are the things that men can give.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Well, we can say we might have a female deputy governor, a female governor in the coming election. So let's just keep our fingers crossed. So let me let my colleagues have the other floor.
Okay, so when you were talking about giving everybody equal opportunity to take up something came to my mind. When people are talking about different gender, they use some kind of language, like when they want to talk about a man that leads firmly and that is decisive, they will say that this guy is decisive. The guy is very strict and is firm. They will say that the guy is decisive. But if it's a woman, they will say the lady is bossy. So I want to understand how do we interpret this label that reveal how we interpret authority differently based on gender? How do we correct this label? When, because the person is a man, we say yes, that's how it's meant to be. The person is decisive, the person is a strong leader. But if it's a woman, you say the person is bossy. So we are trying to redefine, we are trying to understand womanhood better. So what do you think about this label of saying this person, because it's a female, is this, because it's a man, is this?
So yeah, I think I love that question a lot. And that's one of the problems that women and girls have in our society. They tell you that when you see a woman doing something, they tend to say that, oh, she's bossy, she's this, she's that. But when they see a man doing the same thing, they say, oh, he's just being a man, he's just being authoritative. And that is the problem that we have in our society. We tend to put a spec on women to say that they have to be soft, they have to be this, they have to be that. But that is not the way. People are people, irrespective of their gender. So when somebody is this way, you cannot say they represent the whole gender. So those are the biases that we see. And then I'll take, for example, one thing that people usually also do. So when they work with a woman, a female boss, they say that, oh, she's so wicked, she's so bossy, she's so this. But let's put that into perspective. It's a number games. So in our current political spheres and leadership community, we see how it is. So women, when we pick up 10 people, 2 of them are women. When we pick up 10 leaders, 2 of them are women and 8 of them are men. So look at the game of the number. It means that just 2 people is representing millions of people, and 8 people is the representation of millions of people. And now let's put that into perspective. Let's say out of those 2 women, one of them has a very bad character because she's just human, not because she's woman. And one of the women is very nice, she's very caring, she's very accommodating. That's one. And then when you now go to the 8 other men, the men, let's say for example, 4 of them are so bad, they have bad character, and 4 of them are very good human beings. What people are going to tell you is that, oh my God, women are so bad. Women are so bad because there are no representation. Forgetting the fact that people are human, it doesn't mean that because they are women or they are men. So basically, these labels, this language are one of the things that reduces the way women, reduces the progress that we are making. And then yes, we need to educate ourselves to say people are people are human, and the fact that you're a woman and you have to do your work, you have to be assertive, does not mean that people should see you or label you as being bossy. I really hope I answered your question properly.
Yeah, you did. So let me just take this next one. Then I'll give my colleague his own time to also talk. So let me ask you this question. I want us to explore something that so many women have been navigating correctly. So many things that they go through without actually, nobody's actually knowing about it. So, a single successful man is admired for being focused. We say, oh no, he has put in his best, he's doing what he's meant to do, he's right. While a single successful woman is being questioned, we'll be like, oh, how did she get to where she got to? Could it be that she, sleeping with someone, or maybe something, or would definitely question it and be like, no, how did she get to this position? Or how was she able to attain the highest position in an organization? Well, whereas if it happens to be the man, we'll be like, oh yes, it was due to his effort. So I would like you to actually, talk about that. Why does that contract persist? That's the question, and I would like you to, talk about that.
So, you talked about the kind of bias and the stereotypes that we have in our society, and there is no lie about that. When we growing up, we are believed to see men as the provider. we are believed to see men, they have to leave the house, they have to come back and provide for the family. That is the bias that we grow up with. And that is the things that we see in our society. And people now ingrain in their children's heads, in people's heads, that when a woman is in a similar example, it's more not like not ingraining, it's more like a shaming kind of. I would say that it's kind of shaming women into submission. So people that perpetrate this bias, that say that, oh, single women, they are sleeping around, they are harlot, they are this, they are that, they actually know what they are doing. They know that this woman, she got the right education, she got the right thing, she has the ability, the capacity, the capability to go to go fend for herself, to be twice as much as that same man, because of the education she has, because of the capacity that she has. But of course, because they most times want to shame this woman into submission, because why would a woman, why would she have this, why would she have that? So basically they come with that thing to say, oh, let's shame her, she's a prostitute, she's an harlot, she sleeps around. So I would say that bias comes from the fact that as human being, we want to shame women into submission, which is something that is very absurd. So yes, I would say that I agree with you. People do that. That's a common narrative in our society, which we need to stop. We need to realize that women have the same capacity, women has the same brain as a man, and we can do as much as a man can do. So you seeing a woman in a society and building houses, buying cars, and then the next thing you want to say is that, oh, she sleeps around. I mean, you should check yourself. Why can't you sleep around too and get that money? Is it just limited to that one person? So
that's nice.
It's just the fact that people they think that they need to shame women into submission.
All right, that's a very good one. All right, moving on to the next question. In one of your responses, you talked about the disparity in politics, using Oyo State as an example, that up until now, since the state has been established, we've not seen if a woman governor or a deputy governor. Of course, there's disparity when it comes to men-women representation in politics, and of course other sphere. But looking back in the last 20-30 years up until now, I believe personally that a whole lot of progress has been made. From my own experience, as an undergraduate, I've seen women deliver inaugural lectures in their numbers, breaking records. Well, I would love to ask from your own lens, where have women really made progress in terms of probably catching up with the men in every area of the society, not only in academics, not only in politics. Although I said earlier on, there's a disparity in politics, is very fine. But of course, women have been doing very, very well across other sectors, in the world. So what area really, as women be, making giant strides and inking their names in gold?
Thank you for that question. And then I would say that we cannot deny the fact that women have been making progress in every space that they meet themselves. Everything that they touch, they've made it gold. Women have done that. And I will start from education. Women, when it comes to education, access to education, for girls to have access to education, we see women across the world that are coming out in their numbers, in their communities, in their local communities, to find solutions to problems. Women are doing that. I know quite a lot of number of young women, older women in Nigeria that saw a problem in their community and that decided to do something about it. So yes, women are doing something. When it comes to education, they are shaping the way that people see education. They are shaping how girls have access to education. And when we also talk about politics also that I talked about, women have also done a whole lot when it comes to politics. Where they haven't done something is where they are not allowed to do something. They have tried. It's not that they have not tried. But when you see a woman get into political spaces, look around the world, the prime minister of a particular country, the kind of policies that she has shaped in just how many years in office, it's something that we see how when women lead, they lead with empathy, they lead with care, they lead with, they want to do something better for their society. And then when we also look at around the world, and I would try to pull that in Nigeria now. So say for example, when you look at what young women across Nigeria are doing, a couple of days ago, I was on the internet and I saw a young Nigerian woman that was the first to go. She was the first person to get a PhD in a particular course, and not just that. I think she's now working at NASA. So those are the things that women are doing. Women are doing quite a whole lot of things that is unarguably where women find themselves. They do things. They try as much as possible to change the face of that thing and make impact in their community. So yes, women have been doing something in the past 20-30 years, and then there's a whole lot that women can do if we give women the opportunity and the chances to become.
Okay, so when you were talking, you talked about women not giving chances to do some certain things yet. So I don't know if you would love to, if you can shed some light on the things you think that in Nigeria or in the whole world, women have not been given the opportunity to explore that kind
to
of
become president. To become president.
Well, Karima, to be on a fair note, like you said, it's a progress. We can't just get there in a day. We are actually getting there. I believe in some part of the world, just like you said, we have female prime ministers. We have what's it called? The last vice president of the US is a woman, Kamala Harris. So even in developed countries, some developed countries in the world, we don't actually have female president. So it's a gradual process. We're actually going to get there. So as I said, let's just be fair. Not just ordinary president. There are other things that women are actually not allowed to do. And speaking about looking back in some of the years, they're actually getting there. So it's a process. In the next another 5 years, it's going to be way more better than what it is already now today. So it's actually still a progress to us.
Right, I agree with you, and I love the fact that you mentioned Kamala Harris. And we saw how everything played and how, because she's a woman, they did not allow her to become president. I think we should think about that. They are not allowing women to become president. So it's not a fair play. It's not a level playing ground. Kamala Harris had everything to become president, but what did the world say, even develop for? They said, no, you're not going to be president because you are a woman. And that is the problem that we are facing as women. I mean, look at her, very accomplished. She has this, she has that, she has become vice president, she knows policy, she knows politics, but still the world said, nope, you are a woman, that comes first. We wouldn't allow you to become president.
Okay, I think I will also agree with you on that. Although I think the people I have here, they don't actually agree, but I have a point to make that I'm from Anambra State, and there was when a woman became our governor, Vijay Tiaba, and I don't think the woman lasted for a full tenure.
There would always be conspiracy. There would always be conspiracy. There would always be people plotting to ensure that she doesn't succeed. And that is just the honest truth. And men or the world needs to see that men and women alike to see that leadership should not be gender-based. The fact that you're a man or a woman should not mean that you cannot be this or that.
Okay, so I have another point to make. They used to always say that women, they don't make very good leaders, that women are more emotional, they always act from their emotion. And then I made some research that said emotional, when someone is emotional, that's how you can use it, can be strategically used to become a very much better leader. Is actually a strategic asset that someone can use. So how do you think emotional intelligence can shift from being perceived as weakness to being recognized as a leadership strength, especially when it gets to women? Yes.
When people talk about women being emotional, I think that we are just being hypocritical. There is nothing wrong with you being emotional. There is nothing absolutely wrong with you being emotional. When there is a situation where there is a crisis, it's okay to be emotional and then switch. Your emotion should process how you now react to things in a clear way. Emotion is different. Emotion can be angry, emotion can be confident, emotion can be clear-headed. So why do we always see emotion as a negative word? So it's okay to be emotional as a woman, but of course, when people say that, most times I see women make clear heads solutions. They see a problem and they switch into the situation. They find solutions to that problem, and that is what women have. We as women, we are always they always want to use the emotion word to shame us. It's okay to be emotional when they shame you with that. But I would agree with you that women make one of the best leaders because they try to be empathetic. They put themselves into that situation and that is being that is like a kind of emotion, being empathetic. Or what if I am the one in this situation? What if they put themselves? They are being empathetic, then they are also emotionally intelligent. So yes, the way I think that what I would challenge is the way we see emotion, emotionally, and then the way we use it to shame people. So yeah, it's okay to be emotional. It's okay to be a leader and be empathetic and put yourself in your followers' shoes so that you can profile better solutions for them.
All right, very well. Well, I'd love to cite a contradictory example. There in Tanzania, last year we saw a crackdown on protesters after their election, and of course, a woman was the leader, Mama Samia. And her predecessor, John Magufuli, he was also high-handed, but when she came on board, she was more brutal than Magufuli, and that gave some analysts, a very better ground to say, oh, now you have a woman in power. She's even doing her excesses are even more, than her boss. You understand? So, well, that's an example. I'm not trying to, pitch a tent here now or support any side, but I'm just citing a recent example because I met one of my boss. It was like, oh, we are having a woman in power. That's why the situation was like that. That was his own view on that. But away from that, the next question is, I want us to imagine something very, very radical. When we say a successful woman, oh, this woman is successful. Probably whether the woman is an African, is an American, is an Asian. What metrics, can we really use, or what parameters can we really adopt to know who a successful woman truly is?
I wanted to also talk about the Tanzania rule, just briefly. That is politics, and there's a whole lot of things that the media do. So, since Nigeria became an independent country, we've never had a female president, and there have been worst situations in Nigeria. So why are we not talking about that? Why are we not saying because a man is the one in the position? So when it came to our own time, you said it yourself. Our predecessor was also high-handed, but the media painted it as he's just high-handed leader. They didn't mention that she is a man. It's just high-handed, and that is what we are saying. That is the problem. The media contribute to it to kind of like denigrate a woman just because she's a woman. When a woman do something worse, trust me, a man has done 10 times worse than what that woman is doing. And I'll now go back to I just needed to comment that. I'll go back to your question now. I would say that some of the things that we can use to, or the parameter we can use to measure a successful woman, it's a whole lot. And I would not say we should box women in a kind. We should put women in a box. I think that parameter should be individual. It should be, related to women. So say, for example, for you, it can be education. For you, it can be career. For you, it can be family. For you, it can be this. For you, it can be that. So there are a lot of things that we can use to measure a successful woman. But one thing I would use to measure a successful woman is a woman that is doing the things that she wants to do herself.
Oh, that's actually a very good one. So speaking on a woman that actually wants to do something for herself. So let me use this word, a strong woman. The moment we hear that word, a strong woman, a lot of things actually come to mind, that she's equal to a man or she's equal to 10 men or something like that. But I do wonder, does that label, strong woman, create a pressure on that woman that we call strong to endure so many things silently? Or does it discourage that same strong woman to even say, oh, I need help, to seek for help when needed, to seek collaboration? We actually need to do this together to make it work. Or even to, see someone and be like, oh, I need a mentorship from this person. So can you take that too, please?
Yeah, so I would say that the word strong, I'm always very careful to use the word strong, because when you use the word strong, people tend to misuse it. They tend to put all their burdens on top of your head because you're a woman. Oh, she's a strong woman, so let me put all my burden on her head. And we are misusing the word strong. It's okay to be strong, and it's okay not to be strong. That is something I want to tell women. It's okay not to be strong. It's okay to not see yourself as being strong. Just see yourself as yourself. Because when women are labeled as being strong, when they are perceived as being strong, people try to misuse it. They then, with the things that they're supposed to do, they make that other women do it. So, and it's something that is very, very wrong. So yeah, strong is a good word. It's also, we have to also be careful about that. Yeah, it's okay to call yourself a strong woman because you've done this, you've achieved this, you've done the things that your ancestors were not able to do. So of course, it's okay to be a strong woman, and it's okay to also be careful of the labeling a strong woman.
Yeah, very well, Miss Karimot. Yeah, you've done a whole lot for your foundation, the Black Girls Dream Initiative. You know, when I was going through the website, I saw that the foundation has trained over 1,500 students in public speaking and also other skills as well. So, through your work with that foundation, what gives you hope,
Thank you
for
so
girls
much. I think
and
one of the
women?
things I would hope for women and girls, the Black Girls Dream Initiative is a non-profit organization, and what we do is that we try as much as possible to create a space for women and girls to become leaders, to be confident, to believe in themselves. And one of the things I'm going to, talk to women or would want women and girls to be is to be confident about themselves, to believe in themselves, to believe that they have dreams and those dreams are valid. And they should not say because they are just a girl or from Ibadan or from or Shogbo or from one village that they cannot be it. It is, your dreams are valid. There is nothing that is impossible. You just have to click it, have it in your head, and then it's going to be. So yes, my hope and my dream for all young women and all girls across the world is that to believe in themselves and to know that they can and they will. You just have to dream it and be it.
All right, thank you so much for that. So, you are from a girl from Ibadan. Is that correct? All right. Then.
Yep.
So, all right. So, thank you so much. It's actually been a wonderful conversation with you. We've been able to look at what a woman's dream should be like, what a woman's participation should be like in the society, and to know that there's no restriction for every woman out there. If you have that dream, you can actually go for it. So, I would like to thank you for coming on the show, and we would like to also appreciate you for actually finding the time to actually be here. So, thank you so much. On that note, I think we would want to end it there. So I don't know if there's one or two things my colleague would like to add, and we'll just call it a day.
The only woman on the team.
Wrap it up.
That's why we're giving her a chance to round it up. So that's why we're actually giving her a chance to round it up. She's the only woman, so let her do the rounding up. Before you say, that's you. So yeah.
Okay, so I'm glad that at least we have you here to help me out.
I'm glad to do that.
Yeah, so before we round up, I don't know if there's anything you want to add about, is there anything you want people to unlearn about women so that we can understand women better? People that are watching this podcast or listening to this podcast, is there something, a point or two that they need to unlearn so that they will see women in a better perspective?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that one of the things I want people to unlearn about women is to see them as human and not as a particular gender. I want you to unlearn the fact that women places are just to be seen and not to be heard. I want us to unlearn that a woman cannot be president. A woman can be president, and we should strive and clamor for that. I want us to unlearn the fact that women are just weak human beings. Women are not weak. Wherever they find themselves, they use their brain, they use their resources to make sure that everything is good. So yes, I want you to today unlearn the fact that women cannot be whatever they want to be. Women can be and be you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us for this podcast.
Sure, I did it. Don't worry, a woman will be president one day. Just
I look forward to it.
Just give us time. Don't worry, a woman will be president.
You have my vote.
Thank you so much for joining Beyond the Pages podcast for this episode, for this Women's Day special episode. We thank you for bringing out your time and for telling us one or two things from your wealth of knowledge. So I don't know if there's any other thing you want to add before we wrap up. I think we've come to the end of the podcast.
And nothing more. I mean, it's like I rightly said, women can be whatever and whoever they want to be. Women, let's keep on being women, and let's keep on shaping the society that we find ourselves in. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you to our listeners for also tuning in to Beyond the Pages podcast. It's amazing to have all of us here to learn and understand one or two things, unlearn and learn new things about women. We would love you to follow us on our social media platforms. We are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, we are on YouTube, we are on TikTok too, as Accessible Publishers Limited. We are on X, formerly Twitter, as Accessible PL. Then our website is www.accessiblepublishers.com.